Okay, so I just ran out of space on my phone. And we're almost done. So there I was, and I was receiving these positive affirmations that I needed in that moment. I remember being like on my tippy toes, trying to handle the contractions, and I think it was just a way for me to have them flow all the way out of my toes from the top of my head. And it was great. I also, to note, was really, I think I transformed the feeling of the contractions because I was so eager to finally feel how my contractions were going to be and to harmonize with my body and the rhythm of my physiological contractions, right? Because the first time around, I didn't have that opportunity. So you have to realize that I was, you know, asking for these contractions. I want the contractions. I need the contractions to be able to see my baby. I wasn't thinking that they were going to be painful. I wasn't thinking that they were going to be anything really. And that was very helpful. So I didn't know where I was at this point. Okay, so we got to the hospital at 9:30. And then my doula saw me sort of changing positions and not being able to find the right position. And she said, okay, I've just made like a 2-layer area on the bed for you if you want to get into all fours. And I said, cool. So it sounded like a good idea. I put myself in all fours. And as soon as I got into this position, it was like, freight train coming. I didn't have that moment of like relax once you get to 10 centimeters. Didn't know I was at 10 centimeters. A lot of people talk about having this moment of peace before the contractions come back. That did not happen. I got into this position and it was like, like hold on. And from there, basically, it was 5 minutes of the expulsion phase. I think that's what we call it in English. And I felt this need to push immediately. Like I felt like a shit came out. Like it didn't, because I saw it. It didn't cut. There wasn't anything that came out till later. Sorry, TMI, but I mean, obviously, you're pushing something right through that area. So if there's anything in your rectum, it's coming out. And I had that feeling right as it started that like something came out, but I don't think it did. And you're just like, you have this whole thing absorbing your entire abdominal pelvic cavity, you know. It's a sensation. It's a different sensation. You can only compare it when you have, like, when you're going to the bathroom, when you're going number 2, like, and that's nothing in comparison to a baby that was nearly 10 pounds, which Ella Louise turned out to be. So freight train coming through. I am on 4, so hands and knees. So basically the idea is that, like, you know, for her, it was ideal. I was in the position that she needed me to be in for her to get going. And the contractions just kind of are a suction. So she didn't have to do much. She just had to flow with it. And I had to flow with it. And so, that was happening. And then her head started crowning. And that was the moment where I like briefly say no in the video, because Marina, apart from doing everything and being this amazing guide and knowing what I needed to do in every moment, she also was taking pictures when David was helping me, and she actually got one of the doctors to film those 5 minutes. So just amazing, because I've watched it a lot of times and will watch it for the rest of my life, because it is very, very empowering to see yourself giving birth to a baby that looks like it's 2 months old. So from there, I had a quick moment of like, no. And it's because you kind of feel like, they call it the ring of fire. You feel like you are going to break into 2. It's weird. I don't know. And I did lift up my left leg for a moment, I think just to widen the space to even open up the pelvis more. It was very instinctual. I went, you know, kind of like brought my pelvis forward in retroversion right at the end. And that helped her come out. So then her head came out, and 5 seconds later, her shoulders were out. She actually had the cord wrapped around once around her neck. The doctor took it off like super smooth and didn't say anything. And then the body came out, and all of a sudden there she was here, and stayed here for the next 4 hours. Like, it was exactly what I asked for, exactly what I wanted. We didn't weigh her, we didn't measure her, we didn't do any of it until 4 hours later when we went up to the waiting room, to the room where we were staying. And it was perfect. Like, so this was at 11:30, the time that she actually came out. So really, I mean, I was in labor, like regular contractions from like 6:30 to 11:30. So it was very different, from like the almost 3-day thing that was happening with Edward. It's true that I did dilate 2 centimeters in those days coming up before the actual birth, but the experience was what I needed. I needed to know that I could trust my body. You know, the first time around, they told me that the forceps were used because Edward was so big. Edward was 9 pounds 3 ounces. She was 9'9". Like, she came out, I don't have a tear. I didn't have an episiotomy. My vulva looks exactly the same, which I cannot say about, you know, Edward's birth. And she was however many ounces bigger. Like, it was an experience that I guess reaffirmed to me just the wiseness, the instinct that we all have, and that we all can have if we listen, if we have the right people there, if we are not easily swayed by, you know, professionals who want to tell you to induce your birth, or who want to impose whatever their ideas about birth are on you. And I do think that it's really hard. That's really hard the first time around. And in my case, like, I'm happy and I accept what happened with Edward's birth, because it really pushed me to have all this expertise that I did not have before, and to read all these books, and to get certified, and to seek out a doula, and all of these things. So I think it was great. I think I was supposed to have one birth like that, and one birth like this. But this time around, yeah, I guess I just want other women to know that the word pain does not enter into this birth for me. Like, that is not what I felt. I felt like I was in paradise when we were home. Like, it was wonderful. And when we got to the hospital, when they were the most intense, they weren't comfortable, but it was also it was also part of it was my body showing me how powerful it was, you know, and being able to transform those feelings is just as important, and it can be more effective than medication, right? So, and not to say, so, because like, interventions are obviously super welcome when they're necessary and they can save lives, but a lot of times, you know, they're not necessary. And I couldn't believe that this doctor was like, yeah, so we're going to, insist that you induce it if you come here next week and you haven't gone into labor. It's like, would you really want me to be in your birthing room, occupying your birthing room for over 12 hours, and then you having to use instrumentation, then me having to come back however many days to get stitches? Like, is that really what you want? Or, I mean, for me to be, I was in and out of your birthing room in 2 hours. Like, that's how much time I spent there. No one had to do shit. Like, I had my doula, I had my man, and my baby, and those were the protagonists, and the doctor came just right in the expulsion part. Like there, that was it. And so for me, it's just very interesting that the protocols are just tough. They're tough, but you do have more autonomy than you think, and so it's important to have people with you on your side that are, that are giving you also that support. So yes, I just wanted to share this with everybody, and especially moms who are looking to get pregnant, or to people who are not moms yet and who would like to be them, because you do have your body is so powerful, and it's so amazing what it can do, and it's very gratifying to believe in your body and to give it the opportunity to do that if the circumstances allow. So if anybody's interested in knowing more, I'm super happy to share any information about the doula, about whatever, about the hospital. I also have a video of the birth if anyone wants to see it. I know it's weird sometimes to see other people in birth, and it can be uncomfortable, but like, I can assure you I was good. Nothing happened. And yeah, so thank you for listening, and Happy New Year.